أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Please recite aloud salawat. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم. I'm honored to be here with the brothers and sisters in Denmark. It's my first time here in Denmark, inshallah. Hopefully we'll have the things that are said will benefit you and myself as well. Please recite a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Ajil farajah. Okay. First thing I noticed was we have a lot of really old men in the majlis. All of them they always need the wall, right? In the Hausa they call these people Ashabul Jidar, the people of the wall. They have to have the wall with them. Hopefully, inshallah, as we speak, they'll move forward a little bit, inshallah, so that we can move up closer to see them, inshallah. So, I was thinking the other time while we would talk about these nights, and there's one particular topic that always comes to my mind. It's very, very important. And I'm saying this because me growing up in the West, I always struggled with this issue. It was always a difficult issue for me. And that was the issue of the love of the Ahlul Bayt. All of us are gathered here today in the name of who? In the name of Fatima Al Zahra. We come here, some of us wear black, some of us get together, one person brings the books, another person brings the tea, another person spends time, someone gives their money, everyone's helping for this majlis. The question that lies here is why? Why come together and put this whole thing? Why would I travel all the way from Iran just to come and take your time during Fatimiya? Why is Fatimiya so important to begin with? Okay. So the love of the Ahlul Bayt. Why are we going to discuss this tonight? Because of this. Unless you understand why the love of the Ahlul Bayt is important, unless you understand that, the majlis is going to turn into something traditional for you. Right? What does traditional mean? In Farsi we call it sunnati. It's cultural. Because your parents are from Pakistan or Iraq or from Iran, that's why you come to the majlis of Fatima Al Zahra. If your parents weren't from the East, if they were from the West, you wouldn't come. It's just culture. There's no reason behind it. There's no philosophy behind it. That's what's going to happen if we don't understand why we come to the majlis of Fatima Al Zahra. So this is what we're going to discuss tonight. There are 4 questions that we're going to answer tonight, inshallah. Okay. First question. We're going to talk about the concept of love. The concept of love. What happens that you love someone? When we say we love the Ahlul Bayt, what happens that I love the Ahlul Bayt? Do I decide to love the Ahlul Bayt or not? What is love itself? That's the first question that we're going to answer, inshallah. The second question that we're going to answer, inshallah, is why does Islam put so much emphasis on the love of the Ahlul Bayt? Right? We'll mention some of the traditions. Some of these traditions you've probably heard before. Allah, what are the traditions? You know what Allah means, right? Allah means you'll be hearing that a lot. Allah, one of the traditions is what? If you cry even one tear for Abu Abdullah, what happens? غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَهُ ذُنُوبًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive this person's sins. One tear, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive this person's sins. That's just one tradition. Why does Islam put so much emphasis on loving the Ahlul Bayt? What's going on here? The third question that we will answer, inshallah, is this. Why is it that in the Quran, the prophets, sometimes he says, I don't want any reward for bringing you the message of Islam. Sometimes he says, I want a reward. That reward is al-mawaddatu fil qurba. Sometimes he says, I don't want anything. Sometimes he says, no, I want something. Al-mawaddatu fil qurba. Well, that's a contradiction. Tanaqud. If one day I come to Daniel, I say, do you want anything from me? He says, no, I don't want anything from you. The next day I come, he says, I want something from you. I say, oh, Habibi, what's going on? Do you want something from me or do you not want something for me? So these are the questions that we're going to be answering today, inshallah. Please recite the salawat. The first question, what is love? Okay, this is important to understand. Love is a reaction. What does that mean? It means that you do not decide who you love and who you do not love, right? For example, we all have people that we love in our lives, right? Hopefully, you have someone in your life that you love. It might be your husband, your wife, your children, mom, dad. Do you wake up one day and say, A'udhu billah minash shaitan rajim, bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I am going to love my mother today. You don't do that. You don't do niyyah to love your mother. You just love her. You love your friend. You wake up one day and you say, I have to love Sister Rima. No, you just love your friend. I have to love Brother Hussein. No, you love your friend. So love is not something that you decide to do. It's a reaction. You see something, naturally what happens is you start to love that person. This is extremely important. It's not something that we decide to do. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to love the Ahlul Bayt, what is He telling us? He's telling us, look at the Ahlul Bayt, learn about the Ahlul Bayt, find out about the Ahlul Bayt. If you do that, naturally you'll love them. It's not something you decide to do. You don't wake up one day and say, I am going to love Imam Hussein today. No. You look at Imam Hussein, you find out about him, you look at Ali Akbar, you find out about him. What happens? The love will come itself. Let me give you an example. This is a story about the Prophet, salawatullahi alayhi. Please recite salawat. Now I'm going to mention this story, and when you hear a story like this, you see the akhlaq of the Prophet, the love naturally comes. It's not like you decide to love the Prophet. No. You say, oh, this is what it is, I love this person. The Prophet is walking through the alleys of Medina. He's going to pray with the ashab. And while he's walking, he goes through one of these alleys, and the children are playing, right? The children are playing, they're having fun. Right when they see the Prophet of Allah, as if everything stops, they all come running to the Prophet. They say, Kun Jamali. What does Jamal mean? Camel. Kun Jamali. The other one says, no, Kun Jamali. You be my camel. And then the other one says, no, be my camel. They all want to play with the prophets of Allah. So the Prophet calms them and he starts to be their camel. He starts playing with the children. Some of the ashab say, oh, it's time for prayer, we have to go. And the Prophet understands that. He knows it's time for prayer, they have to go. So he says, the ashab, they tell the children, get up, it's time for prayer, we have to go, we have to take him. We have to take the Prophet, people are waiting for him. And they want to do that. The Prophet says, no, wait, you can't just take away their camel. I'm their camel, you can't just take away their camel. You have to buy their camel. Buy their camel? Oh. You have to buy their camel. The Prophet tells one of the ashab, you go to my house, there's a bag of walnuts. you bring the bag of walnuts here. The Sahabi goes, comes back with a bag of walnuts. He doesn't even know what the Prophet wants to do with these bag of walnuts. Gives it to the Prophet. The Prophet says, okay, children, will you sell your camel to this bag of walnuts? Do a transaction. Are you going to sell your camel, which is himself, to this bag of walnuts? They say, yes, we want the walnuts. He says, okay. And then the Prophet gets up and leaves. Then on his way to the masjid, he says, he turns around to people and he says, you know, your children, they sold me to a bag of walnuts today. Now when you hear a story like that about the Prophet, it's not like you decide to love the Prophet. No, it's a reaction. Naturally when that happens, you start loving the Prophet of Allah. Please recite a salawat. One more story and then I'm going to move on, inshallah. This is all just to explain that love is something that happens by itself. It's not something that you decide to do, right? The Prophet and Ali ibn Abi Talib were sitting somewhere. They were having dates. They were having dates, and I'm not sure if it was the Prophet or Imam Ali, which one of them, it was the Prophet, that when he was having the dates, the seeds, he would put it in front of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Eat the dates, take the seed. Instead of putting it in front of himself, he'd put it in front of Imam Ali. Then at the end, when all the dates were done, all the seeds were in front of who? They were in front of Imam Ali. So the Prophet turns around and says, Ya Ali, you eat too much. Look at you, you're eating too much. And Ali ibn Abi Talib says what? He says, no, you know who eats too much? The one that ate the seeds with the dates. That's the one. Because the Prophet, he didn't have any seeds in front of him. He says, you know, the one who ate a lot is the one who ate the dates and the seeds. There's nothing in front of him. He ate all of it together. You hear stories like this about the Ahlul Bayt, khalas, you love the Ahlul Bayt. It's not something you decide to do. So that's the first point that we want to understand, inshallah. Now, I want to draw a conclusion from this point. One of the things that Islam has a lot of emphasis on is the rulings between genders. Boys, girls, men, women, brothers, sisters. Why? Because the love that is there between the genders, it's not something that you decide about. No, once you spend time with the opposite gender, you laugh with the opposite gender, you have a good time with the opposite gender, khalas, the love is going to come. The affection, the feelings, they're going to come. It's not something you decide to do. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't put yourself in a situation that will make the love come. That's why we have strict rulings in Islam, and this is nothing to be ashamed about. Islam has very strict rulings when it comes to genders. Right? Joking with the opposite gender, laughing with the opposite gender. Oh no, we're friends. It doesn't work like that. Why? Because the love between the opposite genders, it will come very quickly. If you put yourself in that situation, the love and the emotions will come. Why? Because love is not something you decide to do. Love is a reaction. Once you place yourself close to something, you'll start to love that thing. Okay? This is why in Islam there are so many strict rulings. There's a brother and a sister, they're not allowed to be in the same room if there's a chance of something happening. Why? I don't have a bad intention. Of course you don't have a bad intention. But the love will come itself. It's not like you're going to decide. It's not in your control. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, don't place yourself in that situation to begin with, because if you do, the love, the emotions, the feelings, those will naturally come. Please recite a salawat. Okay, so this is the answer to the first question. What is love? Love is a reaction. It's not something we decide to do. Second question, when we speak of love in Islam, do we only speak about love and liking everyone and things like that? Or do we also speak of dislike, not liking someone? Sometimes you might spend time with Christian brothers, sisters. Only love. You love everyone, I love everyone. Because if the devil comes in, do you like the devil too? He said, no, not the devil. I love all people, but not the devil. Right? So you don't love everyone, 100% everyone. No. It's the same thing with Islam. Why? We said love is a reaction. If you see the Prophet doing what he's doing with the children, playing with the children, and you love him, and then you see someone do the exact opposite of that, 180 degrees opposite of that, what happens? You tell me. You don't like that person. It's not something that you decide to not like this person. No, it's a natural reaction. The same way I love the Prophet when I see him doing something good, if I see someone doing the exact opposite of that, I'm not going to like that person. This is how opposites work, right? If you like something, you're going to dislike the opposite of it. It's natural. So in Islam, as much as we speak of love, on the other hand, there is what? There is dislike. And as strong as you are in your love, you're going to be strong in your dislike as well. If I see someone helping a child, playing with a child, and I love that person, and then I see someone on the other hand who's killing a child, of course I'm not going to like that person. Because that's the opposite. I can't love both at the same time. No. So that's the second question and the second answer. In Islam, when we speak of love, we also speak of the opposite of it, which is dislike. That's the second question. Please recite a salawat. Our third question. Third question is this: why does Islam put so much emphasis on loving the Ahlul Bayt? Why is it that we have these traditions? One of the traditions I read for you. If someone cries for Imam Hussein, even one tear, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive his sins. Now, before I continue, sometimes when people hear this tradition, they say, oh, if I cry once, then everything is taken care of. Everything is taken care of up until that point. But, if you go and sin again afterwards, then it's not going to help. Okay, let's just make sure we understand that. Okay. This was one of the traditions. And then you look at our ulama, you look at the scholars, how much emphasis they have on the majalis of the Ahlul Bayt. Okay. The question is, does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He wants to decide what act has a lot of reward and what act has little reward, does He roll dice? Na'udhu billah. One day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I want to decide if Quran has a big reward or not. Reciting Quran, for example. Says, roll dice. Oh, yes, Quran, a lot of reward. Prayer, a little reward. Is that how it works? No. Everything that has reward in Islam, there's a reason behind it. Everything that has a reward in Islam, there is a a reason behind it. Okay. Now that we understand this, we want to understand if there is so much reward for loving the Ahlul Bayt, what is the reasoning behind it? Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say one tear and all of those sins are gone? What's the reason behind it? Two reasons we're going to mention, inshallah. Please recite a salawat. I hope the English isn't too, I'm trying to be as simple as possible. Okay. Two reasons. The first reason is this. Loving the Ahlul Bayt and listening to the Ahlul Bayt is a test. How is it a test? Loving the Ahlul Bayt and listening to the Ahlul Bayt is a test because sometimes, as human beings, we listen to the number one person, but we don't want to listen to the number two person. Let me give you an example, right? You have an Islamic school, for example. You have the principal, right? And then you have people who work under the principal. If the principal comes, everyone listens to him. Oh, Mudir, he's here. Everyone sits up. Everyone listens to him. But if the teacher comes, Ya Allah, everyone is doing their own thing. No one's listening. Doesn't the teacher have authority from the principal? He does. Or she does. But we listen to the principal, not the teacher. It's the same thing with the Ahlul Bayt and the prophets. A lot of people will listen to the prophets. But when it comes to the Ahlul Bayt, they say, no. That's why it's a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing you. Are you only going to listen to the Prophet, or are you going to listen to those who work for the Prophet too, or not? Right? The first person who started this was Iblis. What did Iblis do? Iblis said, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him to do sujood to Adam, he said, you know what? If you want me to do sujood to you, I'll do it. But him, I'm not going to do that. So it's a test. Shaitan will worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for years and years and years. Why? Because it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala points at dirt and says, okay, now do sajda to this, then he can't take it anymore. So it's a test. Same thing with the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt. Some people, they will say, this person is the Prophet, we'll listen to him. Now he's telling you to listen to the Ahlul Bayt. No, not the Ahlul Bayt. I like the Prophet, but Ali ibn Abi Talib, So the first reason that it has so much thawab is what? It's a test that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in front of us. Are you going to listen to the Prophet the same way? Are you going to listen to the Ahlul Bayt the same way you listen to the Prophet or not? I'm going to mention the second reason now. Please recite a salawat. The second reason, right? Usually when I speak, I always mention this. I say, if you weren't listening up until now, it was fine. It's okay. But this point, I need your attention. Okay, is everyone listening? Really need your attention. Okay? Please recite another salawat. The second reason why the love of the Ahlul Bayt is so important in Islam, in our religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us to purify us. He created us to reach perfection and all of those things that we have learned before. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to go from sinning to living a life where you don't sin anymore. You don't do those wrong things that you and I do. Okay. There's two ways Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tries to help you do that. Two ways. One way is this. He will sit there and say, hey, you know, there's a heaven and there's a hell. Oh, pay attention. If you don't listen, what's going to happen? You're going to be punished. If you listen, you will be rewarded. And then he tells you that in 20, 30 different ways. Sometimes he says, listen, if you listen to me and you do what I'm asking you to do, there will be fruits. Sometimes he says there will be anhar. Sometimes he says there will be asal. Sometimes he says, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. And then hellfire as well. The Quran is full of verses that explain the punishment of hellfire. The Quran is not ashamed about this. No. This is hellfire. This is how it works. That's the first way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tries to push us towards becoming good people. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is smarter than me and you. So He uses a second way as well. What is that second way? The second way is the way of love. Alhamdulillah, you guys are all young here. Almost everyone. We're youth. Sometimes you see this person, like, for example, if he really, really, really likes a certain athlete, for example, everything he does, he looks just like that athlete. If the athlete wears red shoes, he wants red shoes too. If the athlete wears black, he wants black too. If the athlete speaks a certain way, he wants to speak that way too. Why? Because he loves that guy. He has so much love for this athlete. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this concept of love to purify us. So instead of telling us, listen, if you listen to me, these good things will happen, and if you don't listen to me, these bad things will happen, sometimes He says, forget about that. Do you love this person or not? You look, you see Imam Hussein, you fall in love with him, automatically you start becoming like Imam Hussein. I can sit here and say, Imam Hussein was a very good person. Be like Imam Hussein. If you listen to God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you many rewards. That's one thing. But then it's a different thing when I point to Ali Akbar and I say, this is Ali Akbar, what do you think? You say, I love this guy. Khalas, it's done. Why? Because when you love someone, automatically you start becoming like that person. This is one of the reasons why the love of the Ahlul Bayt is so extremely important in Islam. Because love can do things that 1,000 speeches cannot do. If you really love someone, you will start to become like that person 100%. 100%. And it won't be difficult for you either. So the reason why the love of the Ahlul Bayt is so important in Islam, this is one of the reasons. Because love can do things, it can do wonders. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows this about the human being. So He says, yes, if you come to the majlis of Abu Abdullah, if you come to the majlis of Lady Fatima Al Zahra, and you cry even a tear, yes, that is equal to the forgiving of all your sins. Because if you really fall in love with this family, that's it, you're saved. You will become like them. And that's all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants anyways. So this is why love of the Ahlul Bayt is so important. Now that we understand this, coming to the majlis of Abu Abdullah, coming to the majlis of Lady Fatima Al Zahra, it's not a cultural thing. It's not just because Mama and Papa say I have to go. Papa, or whatever you guys call it. Right? It's not because uncle or auntie says we have to go. Not because Mama and Chachu go. No. Right? It's because this makes me a better person. That's why I'm going. Now, this is a totally different viewpoint. Please recite a salawat. The fourth question, inshallah, and I'm going to end with this. The fourth question is this: how come in some verses of the Quran the Prophet says, I want a reward from you? In some verses he says, I don't want a reward from you. I mean, it's the prophets, right? What do you expect from a prophet? What you expect from a prophet is, I don't want any reward, right? He's a prophet, he's doing his job. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward him. Then why does he ask us for this reward? Oh, Prophet of Allah, you are a prophet. You shouldn't be asking for a reward. This is important because many people have looked at this in the Quran, these two verses in the Quran, and said, it's a contradiction. Tanaqud in the Quran. Right? If you go on Wikipedia and you just search contradictions of the Quran, oh, mashallah, 6,000, 7 million results. Okay. So now we're going to explain this contradiction, explain how it's not a contradiction. Sometimes the Prophet says, I don't want any reward from you. I spent 23 years or however many years of my life sending this message to you. That's fine. I don't want anything from you. Other verses, he says, no, I want something from you. I want al-mawaddata fil qurba. I want you to love my family. How do we bring these two together? There's another verse in the Quran. It says, قُلْ مَا سَأَلْتُكُم مِّنْ أَجْرٍ فَهُوَ لَكُمْ. It says, what I asked you as a reward, the thing I wanted from you as a reward, which was al-mawaddatu fil qurba, huwa lakum. What does that mean? What does huwa mean? That, or him. Lakum, it's for you. In other words, the Prophet is saying, if I ever ask for a reward, it's not really a reward for me, because it's to your own benefits. I'm not benefiting anything from it. If the Prophet of Allah says, love my family, he's not benefiting from it. You're benefiting from it. So is it a reward for the Prophet of Allah? It's not a reward for him. He's not taking away anything from it. Let me give you an example, right? It's like this. You have children. The child is 5, 6 years old. And the child asks for money. I want money. I'll go buy something. And then the father, he makes a condition. He says, I will give you money on the condition that you save the money. I'll give you money on the condition that you save the money. Is the father asking for a reward for himself? No. It's not a reward for him, because he's not going to benefit from it. The son is going to benefit from it. So that's why these two verses do not contradict each other. When the Prophet says, I want a reward, and that is al-mawaddatu fil qurba, it's not really a reward for him anyways. Okay, hopefully we're able to understand that. So I'm just going to go through a summary of what we mentioned, and inshallah we're going to have musibah. So tonight we answered 4 main questions. 4 questions. You guys remember the first question? What was the first question, Allah? The concept of love, ahsant. We said the concept of love is that it's a reaction. You create the atmosphere, the love comes itself. It's not something that you decide. That was the first point that we made. The second point that we made was this, that if we speak of love and we say love is a reaction and that it comes itself, it's not something that you decide, then also the opposite of it, dislike, comes itself. If you see someone and you see something they're doing, you love that. If you see the opposite of it, you're not going to like that. That's just how opposites work. That was the second point. The third point we mentioned, why is the love of the Ahlul Bayt so important? We mentioned two reasons. We said, first of all, because it's a test. Right? We gave you the example of the principal and the teacher. Everyone listens to the principal, but not everyone listens to the teacher. The second reason was that through loving the Ahlul Bayt, we can do things, we can purify ourselves a lot faster than we can through understanding hellfire or heaven or things like that. Those are also important, but this can also really help as well. That was the third point. And the fourth point was bringing these two verses of the Quran together. That sometimes the Prophet of Allah, he says, I want a reward. Sometimes he says, I don't want a reward. What do we say there? We said that when he says, I want a reward, it's not really a reward for him. It's a reward for you. You're the one that's benefiting. So hopefully, inshallah, we have now a better understanding of this concept of the love of the Ahlul Bayt and why it is so important. Let's have just a couple minutes of musibat, inshallah, and then the brother will continue after me for the musibat of Fatima Al Zahra. Assalamu alayki ya Fatima Al Zahra, Sayyidat Nisa'il Alameen. These nights are nights of sadness and sorrow for the Ahlul Bayt. They are nights that the family of the Ahlul Bayt are in pain and in agony. There's this one tradition that I want to talk about tonight that explains the words of Ali ibn Abi Talib when he is burying his beloved wife Fatima Al Zahra. It's a very painful tradition. The tradition says that after he was done with the burial, he turned to the haram of Rasulullah and he started to speak to Rasulullah about the daughter of the prophets. And you can tell that Ali ibn Abi Talib, he wants to speak to the Prophet, but he's also ashamed of the prophets. Why is he ashamed of the Prophet? Because this was the amanah of the Prophet. The Prophet had trusted Ali ibn Abi Talib with Fatima Al Zahra. And he starts speaking to the Prophet of Allah, and you can feel the pain and agony in his words. Ya Rasulullah, qalla an safiyyatika sabri. Oh Rasulullah, I miss your daughter that I just buried here. And her children are in the house, they're waiting for her. Zainab, Hussein and Hassan are waiting for her. Ya Rasulullah, I can't tell you what they did to your daughter, but your daughter herself will tell you. I'm ashamed to tell you what they did to the daughter of Rasulullah. The pain and agony of Ali is something that only Ali can take. This is Asadullah that can take this pain. No one else can take pain like this. He stands there and he continues to speak to the Prophet. He says, Ya Rasulullah, it had only been a couple months after you left us that all the pain and agony came towards us. Ask your daughter, tell her to tell you how the nation of yours, how your ummah started to go against us right after you passed away. Ala la'natullah ala al-qawm al-zalimeen. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون.